This is actually take 3 of this video. The first time my phone overheated, the second time my phone still wasn't cooperating. We will see how this goes, but it is 10 a.m. and 90 degrees, which is pretty crazy since we went from cold and wet to this crazy heat. But gardens are resilient, and my garden is actually doing great and has been growing really fast these last few days. Now, because of the heat, this is kind of going to be a quick tour, but I still wanted to show you what's going on in my garden this week and hopefully give you ideas on what you can be doing in your own garden. And I wanted to share a thought with you, something I've been thinking about in my garden this week. And that is that it is totally okay to romanticize your garden. In fact, I recommend it. So when there's weather challenges and pest challenges, gardening can be tricky at times. And then when you add in social media and everybody's opinions, you can start to compare your garden to other people, or get caught up and confused with all of the information you're hearing from people, all of the rules they say you have to follow, all of the different conflicting ways of gardening. It can kind of get overwhelming, and at times even discouraging. But really an important part of gardening is enjoying your garden and knowing that your garden is and should be a unique reflection of you, your personality, your style, and your goals. I mean, in my garden, one of my big goals is for fresh eating. And I also want to enjoy my garden and have a beautiful garden space. And I want to have a space that I can share with others to inspire and teach them about gardening. And so you'll see that reflected in my gardening style. But we should all have unique gardens and really find enjoyment in them, and romanticize them, so that if and when things do go wrong, it's just, it's a bump in the road. It's not a big deal. It happens, but we focus on all of the things that are going well, all of the beautiful things, our wonderful harvests. So I really encourage you to romanticize your garden this week and create a space that you enjoy and that serves you well. All right, a few things, because I am going to keep this video short because it is so hot. If you would like to come visit our garden in person, you have an opportunity on July 12th. We have a native plant sale at our greenhouse, and I will be giving in-person garden tours. If you'd like to learn more about that or attend, go to our website, theheirloomfarmer.com, subscribe to our email list, and I will send you all of the information about the plant sale and garden tour. I would love to meet with you and show you my garden in person. So definitely subscribe to our email list. And that is also the best way that you can support our family farm, and that enables me to make more gardening videos like this. So with the heat, I am still planting things. I'm giving things a little bit extra TLC in the middle of the heat, but there is still so much that you can be planting and harvesting from your garden right now. This week you can plant tomatoes, peppers, beans, cucumbers, squash, and yes, even lettuce. I plant lettuce all season long in succession so that we always have a fresh supply of lettuce. In the summer, I do tend to plant some varieties that are more heat tolerant, and I give them a little bit of shade. So you can see this recent succession of lettuce that I transplanted. I tucked in here where it's gonna get shade throughout the day. And that will help it grow well, and we will continue to have lettuce to eat. I actually calculated that we save about $200 in lettuce a year by succession sowing and growing our own lettuce. This is a Yeti nasturtium. Isn't it beautiful? So there's a lot that you can plant in your garden this week. And by succession planting, you can succession harvest and have a variety of food for fresh eating. We've been harvesting cauliflower and broccoli, beets, lettuce, garlic scapes. There's so much that we've been harvesting because we are always planting and always harvesting. And I like to harvest as we are ready to eat something so that it is as fresh as possible. Now, I harvested this cauliflower last week and it actually sent out a nice side shoot. I'll probably harvest that later as a snack. And I have some more cauliflower here that's coming along, and I'll just keep an eye on that and make sure it doesn't start to bloom. If I see it start to bloom, I'll go ahead and harvest that. And the same with the broccoli. I cut the main head off and we ate that, and now it's sending out side shoots. So that's one way to increase your harvest from the same plant. And I don't need this space yet, so I'm gonna leave them and see how much of a harvest we get. And then eventually I'll pull the plants out and they'll go in the compost. Now I wanted to mention garlic, harvesting garlic scapes and garlic. I have several varieties of garlic, and this Georgian crystal is always the first ready. I harvested the scapes about 2 weeks ago, and I've been checking the bulbs. I checked this one earlier and you can see it has a really nice, really large bulb on it. I will probably harvest some this week for fresh eating, and then I'll give the rest about a week or two to finish growing and bulbing up. I do not wait until my garlic turns brown to harvest it. I harvest it based on bulb size, and I tend to harvest a little bit early. If you wait too long, you can have more problems with things like allium leaf miner, rust, and bulbs that don't store as well. I also tend to harvest on the early side so that I can transplant in more plants that I have ready and waiting. So I have plants in soil blocks that I started that will be ready, and I will literally, as soon as I take the garlic out, that very same day I'll be transplanting those things in where I harvested the garlic to maximize our growing space. And then over here, I have another variety, Amish garlic, that's a little bit behind, or not behind, it's just, it matures a little bit later. So the garlic scapes on this variety are just now ready to harvest. I like to harvest them about like this size before they totally curl because they have a better texture. If you wait too long, they start to get woody, and I just carefully pull the scape out. If you were to leave this go, this would become the bloom of the garlic. But you can pull these off. That creates in the garlic, then it will focus its energy on bulbing rather than flowering, which is why we pull the scapes. And you can also eat them. They're delicious. We love to add a little bit of olive oil and then throw them on the grill. You can make pesto with them. There are so many great ways to eat garlic scapes. Definitely give them a try. And then by pulling those, that signals to the garlic to put its effort back into the bulb rather than into trying to flower. So I will be harvesting all of these today. This bed will probably need 2 to 3 weeks of time to keep growing and bulbing. And then I will harvest this, and I'll show you how I harvest garlic and cure it in a later video. All right, that is going to be it for today's video because I think my phone's gonna overheat again. I will show you in a future video the food forest that I started in the back, talk about our insect bed over here, and I will show you some of the things I'm growing in soil blocks to transplant into my garden so that we always have room or always have food for fresh eating, and we're maximizing the space that we have in our garden. If you have questions, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, again, please go to our website, theheirloomfarmer.com, and subscribe to our email list to support our family farm and so that I can create more gardening videos in the future when it's not so hot and my phone is cooperating. All right, thank you, and go out and romanticize your garden this week. Really, truly enjoy the gardening experience. Celebrate all of the great things going on in your garden, and really just enjoy your unique growing space. Thank you again, and God bless.